Good evening, everybody. Boy, thank you for your patience in waiting. I'll tell you, no matter how hard we try, and I've got expert technicians here, and it just seems like technology doesn't seem to work when I want it to. But I'm glad that you were persistent and waited for us because this is going to be an awesome, awesome night. I'm your host, Donna Bauer, and I'm glad you have joined us. Um, this is just going to be a really exciting event. I'm happy to share this opportunity with you because this is a true American success story. And I'll tell you, my friend Jack Bosch, he came to this country from Germany, and it hasn't even been that long ago. He had broken English. He couldn't speak real plain. He had no money, and he had a whole lot of student debt. And he's on here tonight because he's going to share with us exactly how he got out of debt and how he was able to quit his job and how he became a millionaire in just 18 months. And what's so cool about it, and the reason I'm so super excited, is that what he's going to share is a perfect strategy for us to combine with our notes. And so when I learned of this, I thought, oh, I've got to have you on. When can you get on? And sure enough, he was gracious enough. We got it set up, and here he is tonight. And so it's a really unique way of investing. In fact, since 2002, he's done over 3,000 transactions, and he's currently doing 20 to 40 deals a month. I really admire him. I think you will too. So, Jack, take it away.
All right. Thank you very, very much, Donna. Yes, we sure had right now a few technical problems, but I'm glad. I wanted to also thank everyone for being persistent and waiting on the line until we could come on, but we were only a few minutes late. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Donna, for having me. I Today we're going to talk about something that you might perhaps have never heard before, and that is how you can make more money on $100 piece of land than others make on $100,000 houses. And also how you can create your own notes and actually make land cash flow. That's something that really most people think about land in a way that you can't make land cash flow. But guess what? There is a huge amount of cash flow in land, and I know as note buyers, as people interested in notes, that is what the notes buyers are looking for, right? There's a lot of cash flow, and I love cash flow. So in any case, so let's get started. So first of all, I wanted to start with a question, and that basically, or actually, I want you to write something down, and that is land equals wealth. Because if you think about it, many of the richest people in the world, they own, amongst other things, land. For example, if you look at the Rockefellers, the Kennedys, all these guys, some of them own entire islands, right? There is, or if you think about, if you ever heard of Ted Turner, right? Probably most people have heard of Ted Turner. Now, what is Ted Turner in? Well, Ted Turner um, is in media, right? He's known to be the media guy. But guess what? Um, Not only is he in media, he also owns over 2 million acres of land in the United States. Interesting, right? Why would a guy like that own so much land? Because he knows that land equals wealth. Now, or another example, I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and in Phoenix, Arizona, we have a family that's called the Herbergers. Now, you probably have never heard of them. I had never heard of them, but they started popping up everywhere. Wherever I lived, there's a Herberger Theater. It's a downtown big acting theater. There is a Herberger School of, I think, Fine Arts or something, of art at Arizona State University. There is a mall that's called Kierland Commons. Now, Kierland Commons, that's kind of a weird name, isn't it? When I asked around, I asked somebody where the name comes from, and he says, well, I read it in the newspaper, and it says, well, you know what? It's the maiden name of Mrs. Herberger. Now, what do the Herbergers have to do with all of that? Well, you know what? When Phoenix was expanding, they were the first guys who bought land in the outskirts of town for as little as 50 cents an acre, and then turned around and sold it for a multiple of it, and in some cases also held on to the land and created generational wealth. Now, um, so that's, or another example. If you, for example, you're probably listening to to this here, for all over the country, you're in different places, many of you are different places than we are, obviously. But, for example, if you think, you all probably have heard of Orange County, right? Orange County, south of LA, affluent area. If 30 years ago, perhaps about 30 years ago, if you would have bought a house in Orange County, that house would have cost you about $70,000. Well, today that house would be worth about $700,000. Well, that's a pretty good return on investment. However, if you would have bought yourself 30 years ago, just a mile or two away from that house, a piece of land for $70,000, perhaps you would have gotten like a couple of acres, let's say, that land today would be worth $1.5 to $2 million. It just illustrates land equals wealth. Now, because all the rich people in the world, they hold on to land because that's why I think you should also be looking at land, and because that's where the wealth is. Now, also, another thing is, and in fact, land is starting to be such a hot topic again. It's starting to become a really hot topic again, in the sense that the builders are buying again, that individual investors are buying again, and et cetera, that it's being covered in magazines again and again and again. As a matter of fact, I have, because I've done so many land deals, I have been covered in the Personal Real Estate Investor magazine multiple times. It's a national magazine. You can go into any Barnes & Nobles or Borders or any of the bookstores that are out there and actually get that magazine right there from the right there. And in multiple times, I have been featured. Actually, the publisher, whenever he wants somebody to talk about land, he calls me, and he calls me the land expert. Now, what kind of land? I've done land deals all over the United States. I mean, from single-family residential into lots to acreage to you name it. And over the years, since the beginning or since the end of 2002, I have done over 3,100, and actually that has just increased from 157 to 193 deals. So I guess that's why they call me the land expert, right? Now, many of you you might be thinking, like, Jack, how do you even do 3,000 deals, or perhaps how do you even do 300 deals? You know what? The answer is in having a system. The answer is in having a system that you can automate, that you can outsource, and that allows you to do. And that is simple. A system that is simple and easy to do. And I bet you're in favor of easy, right? Because who wouldn't be in favor of easy, right? So therefore, but overall, I never thought I would be able to bring this to levels that I never even dreamed about. But thanks to this land business that I'm sharing with you tonight, I have been able to really live a life that is beyond my dream. So this is what land can do for you. This is what land can do for you. For example, here's what land can do for you. For example, I take my family every year on multiple vacations. So for example, once a year, we go over to Hawaii. This is on Maui, but there's my beautiful wife, Michelle, and my gorgeous little daughter, Sophia. And I don't know if you see that on the right picture, but right there where it's really, really bright, on the right side, there's a flamingo standing. So, and I mean, I take my family out there. I take my family to Germany, where I'm from, every year for about a month. We go all over. We go in other places and so on. And you know what? I'm not telling you that to brag or so. I'm not telling that to impress you. But I'm telling you, the reason why I'm telling that is because here's the thing. We go on vacations. We travel where we want. We spend what we want. For example, in Hawaii, we sometimes go often, or actually every time, we don't just take one five-star hotel, one room, oceanfront room in a five-star hotel. No, we typically take two adjoining rooms in a five-star hotel. Why? Because we take our nanny with us. We take our nanny with us so that our daughter is taken care of, so we can spend time with our daughter. We can spend time alone. We can go shopping. We can go on dinner trips. And we know that our beloved daughter is well taken care of, right? At the same time, our nanny is pretty happy, right, obviously. But the key here is, every single time, no matter where we go, no matter what we spend, no matter how long we stay, when we come back from that vacation, we have more money in the bank account than when we left. Who would like to have that? How would you like to have more money in your bank account when you left than when you come back than when you left, right? And that's exactly what the land business can do for you. So here's the thing. So what a German guy does in the United States. Well, let's talk about that quickly. I grew up in Germany. I'm born and raised in Germany. My dad's a high school teacher. My mom's a stay-at-home mom, so I didn't grow up rich. I didn't grow up with inherited money or anything like that. Actually, they kept me pretty tight, and they taught me the same things that most people teach their children. It's like work hard, get a good job, get a good education, and so on. So I didn't I wanted to get a good education. My parents wanted me to become a teacher, a doctor, but I guess I didn't become any of those, even though ultimately I'm now teaching my investment system. But I certainly didn't grow up rich. And then what happened is I got to the U.S. I got into college, and I came into the U.S. in 1997 to finish my college degree. And afterwards, I did what I knew to do best. You know what? And that was I worked hard. Worked hard. Isn't that what our parents tell us? Go work hard, get a good job, and get a good education, right? So I followed that, and I worked really hard. I got a job where I worked literally from 8 a.m. to midnight every single day, and every single day is almost literal. I worked 5 to 6 days a week, and sometimes I literally left on Sunday afternoons. I had to travel a lot. I had to be away from home a lot, spent the time in some really kind of not so pretty hotels, and then I basically went often on Sunday evenings. I left when I came back Friday night at midnight. Now, soon enough, and let me ask you, do you ever know anyone that whose company went through a shift? Well, obviously, we just went through a big recession, right? Obviously, we know there's a lot of shifts, and a lot of people have been let go. Well, in my particular case, what happened is that I actually had I joined a company that had 7,000 people. But guess what? All of a sudden, they hit a shift in the industry, and all of a sudden, that company went from 7,000 people to 4,000 people in less than 1 year. Now, let's talk about being stressed. Let's talk about having a lot of tension and so on. Well, guess what? That was me back then, because yes, you know what? I realized, but you know what? In everything, there's a blessing. And what I realized in that point, at that moment, is that there is no such thing like job security. There's no such thing as job security. The only security that you can create is the security for yourself. And in my particular case, if I would have lost that job, not only would I have lost the job, I would have had to leave the country. Because I came here from Germany. Remember, I just said I came here from Germany. I live in Arizona, so I have to actually state that. I was legally in the country. No issues on that end. I had a work permit, I had a work visa, and I was working on what is called a permanent residency, on basically that unlimited work and work permit and permit to stay in the country, right? So I was working on that, and if I would have lost my job with the job that permit would have gone, I would have had 60 days to find another job or to go and leave the country. Now, I had just married. I had just married a beautiful lady. You saw her in a picture just a couple of slides ago. I just married my wife. We're going to be married right now 10 years now, but I just married her. We just bought a starter home. I had just developed a little bit of credit. I started that house. I put whatever little bit money I had to put a down payment in there. I owed everything. Everything I owned was on installment payment. My bed was paid on installment payment. My couch was paid on installment payment. Talking about notes, but they were in other people's hands, right? My mattress was paid in installment payments. My refrigerator was paid in installment payments. The cars obviously was paid in installment payments. And the house, obviously, there was a big mortgage on it. So as a result, if I would have lost that job, I would have had to basically everything that I had built up would have been destroyed. So I know perhaps you can relate to that. Perhaps you know somebody lost their job, right? But you certainly know that there is no such thing like job security. So I made a decision in that moment. I made the decision to actually work harder. To actually not work harder, but start work smarter. I had to make the decision that the only way that I can have financial security is by start my own business. Now, I never grew up like that. I never thought of it. It was a scary thought in the moment. But I decided I had to do that. But I had no clue what I should do. So I went to a friend of mine. And this friend of mine is the only successful person I kind of knew at the time. A friend of mine that owned a bigger company with like 300 people and very successful. And I asked him, Günther, good German guy with the name Günther, is like, Günther, what do you think I should do if you would have to start all over again? What would be the 4 things that you would focus on in starting a business? He says, like, you know what, Jack? Here's what I would do. Number 1, find a business that is profitable. I was like, well,
I mean, that's kind of like common sense, right? But he's like, yeah, no, think about it. How many people do you know that the average franchisee of a, I don't know, let's call it the Subway, what he makes about $20,000 a year, 20, perhaps if he's good, $30,000 or $40,000 a year. He has to be there every day, 7 days a week, manage the thing himself, be there all day long, and makes about, if he's good, about $40,000 a year. You know, that's not my exact definition of financial freedom, right? We think about these franchises as money makers, but you know what? These small franchises will only make money if you have a whole lot of them, and that is a huge investment, right? So he said, so therefore, there's a lot of people that pick businesses that actually are not very profitable. So he said, number two, he says, pick something that doesn't require a lot of maintenance. Because if it doesn't require a lot of maintenance, you don't have to be there all the time. Number three, he said, create something that creates passive, ongoing income. Because if you don't have to be there all the time, and you get passive income, and now, right now, I define passive income just simply as checks in the mail, right? Then, if you don't have to be there all the time, if you get passive income and you can do it part-time and from anywhere and from a distance, then you have a business that can enable you to accomplish your two freedoms. Freedom number one is freedom of time. Freedom number two is freedom of money. Because all the money in the world is not really going to help you if you don't have time to actually enjoy it, right? And all the time in the world is not going to help you if you don't have a little bit of money to actually go places and see things and enjoy the nicer things in life, right? So therefore, it's the combination of the two. So he told me that's what he would do if we start again. And I think that's great advice in any business, right? So I found real estate. What I did is I looked around. I looked at all kinds of businesses, and I found real estate. Now, once I found real estate, I realized soon that not all real estate is created equal. Not all real estate is created equal. So as a result, what happens is I started, well, I didn't know where to start. So I went to the library, got a couple of books, started reading, and I got myself into a deal here in Phoenix, Arizona, where I got a little unit, a little property of 3 units, or a triplex in a sense. They were kind of separated from each other. 3 rickety buildings that I got on the contract for $48,000, and I thought they were worth about $80,000. So I put them on the contract. What I wanted to do was a wholesale deal. So I wanted to take him, wholesale him, and guess what? I put an ad in the newspaper just like I had read in there, and the phone started ringing, and nobody was picking up that wanted to pick up the property. And the next thing that happened is I completely and utterly freaked out and backed out of the deal. Now, let me ask you, did you ever freak out over anything in your life? Well, I'm pretty sure you did, right? I freaked out, and you freaked out. Now, does it mean that we can't make real estate work? No, it doesn't mean that, right? It doesn't mean that. All it means that we have to change our approach. All it means is we have to change our approach. So then, once I focused on land, that's exactly what I did. I changed my approach, and I realized that I needed to get something where I can get in cheaper, where I can get without taking a bank loan, where I can get in without with just basically perhaps a few $100s and make thousands of dollars of profit. And once I focused on land, things just started to happen. For example, my very first deal that I did, I bought for $400, and I sold it for $4,000. Is that a good deal? I think it's a great deal. It's a great starter deal. It's 9 times my money in profit, right? 9 times my money in profit, $3,600 in profit. The second deal I bought was 40 acres for $500. That's $12.50 per acre. Now, is that a good deal? Well, it depends what it's worth, right? Well, it was worth about $40,000. And I needed the cash. I just wanted to build up cash in the moment, and I just turned around and flipped it and sold it for $9,500 in a matter of 10 days. That's a $9,000 profit, or in terms of percentage, that's almost almost a 2,000% return in a matter of 10 days. We don't even want to annualize it, right? But here's some other deals. I bought 1 acre for $1,875 and sold it for $86,000. Or another deal is I bought 2¼ acres in Florida for $458 and I sold it for $21,000. Now, are these good deals? I think so. You know what? And afterwards, because of that, I was able to live that life that I was dreaming of. The land business can do the exact same things for you. As a matter of fact, it even can get you together with people that you never thought you could meet in your life. Well, I never thought I could meet people like Sir Richard Branson. But I was invited to an event with Sir Richard Branson, and while I was there, I talked to him for a little bit, and I talked to him about something that's close to my heart, which is a charity. And we talked to him, and he dragged me over to his international and worldwide charity managers, and now we're in preliminary discussions with Richard Branson Foundation to do something and help the poor in Central America and Honduras. Now, why in Honduras? Because my lovely wife is from Honduras. We do a lot of trips over there every year, and we see how much poverty there is in the country. But now I get to attend places like that. I get to meet people like that. I mean, it's like beyond my wildest dream. Because when I started this business, all I wanted to do was replace my job. That was the only goal. However, it has surpassed it many, many times. Now, I was able to move in when I came to this country. My first apartment was a 300 square foot apartment that was next to the train track. You know what? My home office is bigger than that now. My home office, I was able to move into this beautiful 4,100 square foot house, all custom interior design. I mean, it's like absolutely gorgeous. But you know what? We just moved. Just a few weeks ago, we moved into a little bit bigger home because we needed more space. Now we have this new house, which is 5,100 square foot because we needed a little bit more space. We have a daughter, grandma stays with us, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, but at the end of the day, let's talk about land, right? Talk about land because here's the thing. Why land? Why land? Now, the very simple thing that I like about land is that it doesn't have any of the 3 T's. There's no tenants, no toilets, and no termites. Well, there's no tenants. There's nothing. Nobody's going to call you at midnight if you deal with land. There's no toilets, nothing that's going to overflow or it has to be fixed or so. There's no roof damage. There's no foundation damage. There's no drywall damage. There's no termite damage. And as a matter of fact, there are termites. But you know what? That's their natural habitat there. It's a natural habitat. So also you can't steal or destroy land. I mean, try to steal a bunch of land from one of my land parcels. Guess what? There's more land underneath. So as a matter of fact, you can't steal land. You own it to the center of the earth. Number 3, land does cash flow. If you structure the sale such that you are very, very aware of, you can buy these properties for pennies on the dollar and then sell them for a huge markup, and then create seller financing notes with it. We'll talk about that much, much more. And ultimately, there's minimal competition because guess what? Everyone talks about land as something that is expensive, that's risky, that requires a lot of time to develop. There's only something for the big fish that cost millions of dollars, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But guess what? That's not the land that we're talking about. What we're talking about here tonight, my 3,000 deals are properties that are worth under $100,000, typically under $100,000. Sometimes they're more than that, but they're in the outskirts of town. They're in infill locations. They're just in smaller towns, or they're also in many cases rural acreage. So and land has minimal upkeep and maintenance. Now and ultimately, right now in this market, right now in the world that we're in right now, there is deals out there like I have never seen before. Literally, you can buy properties for less than it takes for you to take your family to a funky dinner at a place like TGI Fridays, right? So who would like to skip dinner and instead buy a property? That's exactly what we're talking about here. And plus, we're focusing on a property in the price range of $5,000 to $80,000. And selling is actually easy. Selling is actually easy thanks to an invention that happened in the last 20 years that's called the Internet. So we'll talk about that a bunch more. But now I quickly want to introduce one of my case studies to you. And that is a lady called Donna Carmen from Denver, Colorado. Donna pawned her jewelry to get my program. And then she got, shortly after, within a few weeks, she got 27 properties in a gated community, in a gated lakeside community with electric, water, and sewer for the whopping amount of, or even a golf course community too, for the whopping amount of $50 a property. For $50 a property, I kid you not. and she turned around because she needed the money. She was in the process of losing her house. She had to pawn her jewelry. She just needed the money. Each of these properties were worth about $6,000 to $7,000, $5,000 to $7,000, and she just quickly flipped them for about $950 a property. Now she only flipped the first 17, actually for a little more, $1,100 a property. She only flipped the first 17 for about $20,000, and then she sold the other ones for a little more. And now she's in negotiations to already buying another 40 properties at $50 a piece. How would you like to buy a property for $50 a piece that is in a gated community, lakeside community, electric, water, sewer, and on a golf course, right? That's the kind of deals we're talking about. Now she sold 12 of them for $20,000, and actually we don't have audio here, but or it doesn't come across very much, but there is the video there. So now, how does this work? Now let's jump right with both feet, just jump right into it. Here's how this works. Here's the deal. All over the United States, there are people that don't want their property anymore. Now Canada, it works too, by the way. That's many students in Canada. Now many owners don't want their property anymore. They don't want to put any more money into their property. They just want to get rid of the property. They're willing to walk away from their property for almost zero, or in some cases even for zero. Now, what if somebody really truly doesn't want their property anymore? Somebody doesn't want their property at all anymore, doesn't want to have anything to do with their property anymore. What does that person ultimately do? Well, in some cases, they stop paying the property taxes, right? They stop paying the property taxes and let the property go down the road towards tax foreclosure. Now, at this point, let me actually stop you. What I'm talking to you about tonight is not a tax lien or tax deed system. It has nothing to do with a tax lien or tax deed system. However, let me backtrack a little bit. When I found out about when I freaked out, when I couldn't do that first deal, that first wholesale deal, when I completely freaked out, I backed out of the deal, I couldn't do it, I realized that I needed to do something that I could get in at lower money, with less money. I could do that where I just could lock up a property, secure a property for perhaps $500 or a couple of $1,000 or perhaps only $100, right? And I came across tax liens and tax deeds. So I started them. And I liked the profit potential. However, also there I saw some disadvantages that I didn't necessarily like that much. I liked the potential, but there were some hurdles, some major disadvantages. Number one, there's lots of competition, right? For example, in the tax deed world, where tax deed, just in 20 seconds explained, is basically if the owner of a property doesn't pay the property taxes, the government takes the property away. Now they either issue a lien for that money that is owed to them and sell that lien at a public auction, a tax lien, or they just take the property away and sell the property at auction. Now I realize that, for example, there are states that do only tax liens, and there are states that only do tax deeds. So I realized that in tax deed states there's a lot of competition. For example, in Texas, in Houston, when there's an auction. I attended once an auction. There were 300 properties for sale, and there were 1,100 people at the auction. Now, if you have 1,100 people bidding on 300 properties, that means one thing. Prices go where? Up. Prices go hugely up. Prices go through the roof. Most of these properties ended up selling at 80 or 90% of market value. So I don't know about you, but I don't want to buy at 80 or 90% of market value. I want to buy with an 80 or 90% discount of market value. I want to buy at 10 or 20 cents on the dollar, right? So, and in the tax lien world, I also realized that it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of competition, and it takes a lot of time before you can foreclose. For example, in Arizona, the tax lien state, you can buy a lien, but you have to hold it for 3 years before you can foreclose on the property. Now, you get good cash flow from it, sure, that yes, but you get a good return. But you still have to wait 3 years if you want the property. And again, I wanted to make money now, not 3 years from now, right? How about you? Would you like to make money now or in 3 years from now? Well, I would guess probably now. So therefore, I looked at it, but I still like the profit potential. So after a lot of thinking, it's like, what can I do here? How can I make this happen? I finally came up one day, literally, I was sitting in a hotel room, and 2 words popped up in my head. And 2 words. And these 2 words were, why wait? Why should I wait? Literally, it came up, it was like a ton of bricks fell off my has in this sense. So why wait until people stop paying property taxes? Why wait until these properties go for tax sale? If you look at it, a state like California, which is a tax deed state, where they basically take the property and sell it at auction, there's something that's called the redemption period, meaning that the time period where the state has to wait, they can't do anything. They can't take the property away for you the day after you stop the property taxes. They have to wait a longer time period. In California, they have to wait 5 years before they can take away the property for you. Now, if somebody, so literally that means if somebody decides today to stop paying the property taxes in California, they said, you know what, I just got the tax bill, I'm not going to pay it anymore. Let that property go to wherever it's going to go. If they do that today in 2011, you know when this property is going to come up for auction? Somewhere like 2017. In 2017, again, who wants to make money today versus 2017? I mean, we don't even know where we're going to be in 2017. We want to make money now. So therefore, why wait? Why wait? Why should I wait until people stop paying property taxes? Why should I wait until properties go for tax sale? Instead, couldn't I just find the people who don't want the land anymore? Couldn't just find the people who if they're just delinquent by a month or day, or if they don't, even if they're still paying the property taxes, what if I could just identify who the people are that don't want their properties anymore, and then take this and then contact them and offer to buy the property? Because if somebody truly doesn't want their property anymore, truly just wants to get rid of it, then shouldn't they be willing to accept whatever you literally offer to them, whatever token payment you offer to them? And that's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what I figured out. I figured out a system that I could find the people that don't want their properties anymore. How I can contact them, how I can find them, how I can contact them, and how I can make them offers for just a token amount that they are more than willing and more than happy to accept. Literally, people don't want the properties anymore, and the owners are willing to walk away from them, and they're willing to take as little as $100, and in some cases even for free. Now, and you know what? The market is huge. The market is huge for that. Now, we don't have numbers on the people that don't pay the property that pay the property tax and still want to give it up, but we do have numbers on the people who don't pay their property taxes anymore, right? We know how many people in the United States approximately don't pay their property taxes. Now, if they don't pay it now, given not all the people that don't pay their property taxes are going to be eager to sell a property, some have already just forgotten or so, but still a good percentage of the number they're going to show you in a second are going to be willing to let their property go to you for just pennies on the dollar. My main discovery, though, was something that blew me away. My main discovery was that while some people owe property taxes, many don't. What I realized that after having done a couple thousand deals was that I analyzed all my deals and I came out that only 1/3 of all my properties that I had bought, 1/3 of all my properties actually had back taxes at the point of time that I bought them. That means that literally 2/3, more than half, 2/3 of all the deals that I've ever done the owners did not owe a dime in property taxes. Their property was not scheduled to come up for auction. Their property was not scheduled to come up for tax lien auction. Their property was not even listed for sale, and their property was not delinquent in any shape or form. They were just sick and tired of owning their property and wanting to sell it. And typically, there's nothing to do with the property. These are beautiful properties, beautiful acreage. For just some reason, there's a whole bunch of reasons. It might be that the owner lives far away. It might be that the owner doesn't want to deal with it anymore, that the owner passed away and the heirs don't want to deal with it. Whatever it is, there's a whole bunch of reasons that we don't even have time right now to go all into it. But the point is, we know that there is a lot of people who don't, while we don't have data, generally speaking, how many people out there in the world don't want to let their property go even though they're still paying their property taxes. We do know how many people don't pay their property taxes. And here's the thing. As of February 13th, the last time I ran this, 2011, according to the website taxsaleList.com, which kind of keeps track of the delinquent properties, there are over 18,298,599 properties where the owners are not paying the property taxes. 18,298,599. Now, do we have a market? Yes, we have a huge market. And remember, this is only the people who don't pay their property taxes. We have another 2/3 of more people, twice as, I mean, another, let me ask you, who would like to triple your business right away, right? Because I'm going to share with you later on how you can instantly triple your business by contacting the county, by basically telling them some magic word, after which they will open up an almost unlimited amount of motivated sellers that stream that can come to you. So, but the key here is 18,298,000 people are not paying their property taxes, and that's only 1/3 of your potential market, because only 1/3 of all the properties that I've purchased actually had back taxes on them. So, and all of that, all of these things, all of these experiences, all of these lessons, all of these things that I learned have made it into all these 3,194 deals have made it into an easy process into my land profit generator. And as a matter of fact, I actually never thought about teaching this in a sense, but once I saw people out there really doing real estate the hard way, really doing all these hard things in real estate where you have to kind of juggle all these different things, where you have to juggle a bank, where you have to juggle and try to get bank financing these days, but you know what I mean? They're going to look at your underwear both sides, right? And all these different things, an inspector, an appraiser, a mold inspector, a termite inspector, you name it, all these guys that you have to line up, contractor, rehabbers, all this kind of stuff. I mean, for the beginning investor, that's a lot to handle. And I saw that, and that's why I think a lot of people fail in real estate. And at that point of time, I realized, you know what, I just have to share this. I have to share this because this is real estate the easy way. Because all you deal with in this land profit generator program, in the land investment method, is with a seller that doesn't want the property anymore. With you, and then you sell it to somebody else. And ideally, you create a cash flow in that process, right? So this is the program. So now let's talk about keys to cashing in on land. But basically, this system is real estate simplified. And let me ask you, who is in favor of easy? Are you in favor of very easy? Or how about very easy, yes? Or how about super easy, right? And that's exactly what the land profit generator makes you able to do. Okay, so now let's dive right into even more detail. And the details right now we're going to cover is the 5 keys on cashing in on land. So 5 keys. Number 1, finding the non-wanting sellers. Number 2, send out marketing. Number 3, analyze deals. Number 4, make offers and buy the properties. And number 5, sell the properties. Now, does that sound easy? Yes, because it is easy. That's all there is to the system. And that was actually, I forgot a piece. That is celebrate and then do it again and again and again. Okay, so let's talk about the first one. Finding the non-wanting sellers. What you're looking for is you're looking for people who don't want their properties anymore, right? It could be land or homes. The system also works home. One of my students, the day here, he studied it. I sat one of my first students. I spent a couple of hours with him. He bought a $300,000 house for $115,000 and then flipped it for $200,000. Made a quick $75,000, $85,000 profit on the deal. Another student came to me and says, like, hey, Jack, I understand you want to be in the $5,000 to $80,000 range, but in my neighborhood, all the houses sell for $25,000. I was like, well, then go do this with houses. So now what he does, he picks up houses for $5,000 and sells them for $25,000 or $30,000. So it works for land or houses. I like it. I like land because of the many reasons that I mentioned, but also the reasons that it keeps it simple. I don't have to send anyone out there to inspect it. I don't have to do any of that, yet I can still create cash flow with it. And what you're looking for a list of criteria, like, for example, a price range, location of the owners, length of owning the property, and a whole bunch more criteria that you select a list, that you filter a list through, and then what you do next is you send them a letter or a postcard. But before, send them out some marketing. But before, let's look at another of my case studies. Case study number 23 from Jill Robbins in Superior, California. Jill says the following. Here's what she did. It's one of her very first deals. She got 6 adjoining lots for a total of 5 acres. The seller didn't want the property anymore, and the property appraised for $68,000. So again, we're not talking about junk properties here. These are nice properties, $68,000 worth of property. Now, how much did she pay for this property? paid exactly zero out of pocket. The seller basically said, you know what? I don't want it anymore. You can have it. I think she sent him $50 or so just to make it a financial transaction out of it. But other than that, she paid zero out of pocket, and she did just assume a few back taxes. And then she proceeded to sell them wholesale. Well, the last thing I heard was she had somebody on the contractor so far for $45,000. Now, let me ask you, how would you like to buy a property for zero out of pocket and then sell it for $45,000, right? How would you like to pay nothing and make at the end of the day about a $42,000 profit? Would that be something that you're interested in? I think so, right? So this is pretty cool. And that was one of her first deals. How would you like to have that as being your first deal? What could you do with an extra $40,000? Would that help you pay off your bills? Would it help you sort of like quit your job and focus perhaps on this full time? Would it help you do a trip that you want to do, buy a new car, help your parents, help your charity? You know what? Whatever it is, it's worth it. So now step number 2, send out it's worth going after it. So step number 2 is send out marketing. Now what you want to send out is not just any marketing. You want to send out land profit performance improvement letters and postcards, right? And here's the thing. Now, if you're experienced real estate investor, if you've dealt with short sales or anything like that, the typical response rate on a letter is, if you're good, 3 to 5%. If you are in a competitive short sale area, it's perhaps 0.5% or 1%. And if you're like Target or Walmart sending out direct mail, you are happy if it's 0.5%. Now, my letters and postcards, because I have done so many deals, I've tested them left and right and left and right and again and again and again. I constantly test them. They have reached acceptance, or they've reached response rates that are literally off the charts. And they're off the charts because, as I said, they tested them, but also, how many people do you know that do land business? How many people do you know that send out marketing to landowners? Landowners whose properties are not even on the market? Exactly. You probably don't know anyone who does that, or most of you probably don't know anyone. We didn't even tell our neighbors we were doing this. We're just doing this from our house, living room, and that's it. And then we grew from there, right? Very low key. My wife and I just low key, making just deal after deal after deal after deal. And in my first year, part time, traveling 100%. Working from 8 a.m. to midnight every single day. Literally on Wednesday nights we had 40 hours for the week. Coming back Friday night, with that we did 63 deals in our first year. You think you can do a couple of deals a month or a couple of deals a year, making you an extra $5,000 or $10,000 a deal? I sure think so. But the key is when you send out postcards, these postcards get results. Now how much results? My letters and postcards get a 6 to 20% response rate. As a matter of fact, I'm telling you that later on when you get my program, if you get less than 10% response rates, you got to contact my office. And I mean that because I want to then look at what you're doing, because you should be getting 10 to 20%, and most people are getting 10 to 20%. So this means 100 pieces mailed, you lead to at least 6 to 20, if not more, qualified calls back of people wanting to sell their property to you. Wow. Now, here's another case study. Here's a case study of students, and it's probably a little too small to read it, so I've actually blew it up here. It says, hey guys, so far I've mailed out 46 letters with 6 responses. That's right there, 13% response rate. One of which just came via email, and he says, pay my back taxes. You pay all the fees, and the property is yours. Again, how much did he pay for this property? Just pay my back taxes, pay all the fees, and the property's worth. He ended up paying zero out of pocket, assuming, or then purchasing, paying about $500 for back taxes on a property for $6,500, and made a quick wholesale profit of $3,000 on the deal. Now that's a great example, but so let's move on to, you hear my German accent here with some of these expressions that misspell or mispronounce here, but I hope you don't mind. Number 3 is I analyze the deal. For example, here's what you want to do. Now, at this point, that you send out the postcard, you got answers back. Now it's time to analyze the deal. So what you want to do is a quick 5-minute property value check. And you do that online and from home. You know what? The first few hundred deals that I did, I actually looked at the properties. But I realized, why should I do that? Nowadays, you can do everything from the comfort of your home. You can do this from your computer without leaving your house, using free websites like, for example, Google.com, GoogleMaps.com, GoogleEarth.com, Realtor.com, etc., etc., etc. It is all for free. As a matter of fact, for the last probably more than 2,000 deals, I have not looked at the properties. And nobody in my office has looked at the properties. We have not bought. We've not bought this property. We bought this property sight unseen, sold them sight unseen, and it has made millions of dollars in profits. And you can do the same thing. So you don't have to know anything about the real estate. You don't have to be at the property. That means you can do deals anywhere you want. I own properties on the state of Hawaii. Gives me a good excuse to go to Hawaii to inspect my properties on the annual vacation, right? Also, I know properties in Florida. I own properties in Indiana. I flip properties all over the United States, living in Phoenix, Arizona, and you can do the same thing. And my students are now doing the same thing. As a matter of fact, I got a student in Italy doing deals in the United States, multiple students in Canada doing deals in the U.S. and in Canada, and a student in New Zealand doing deals in the United States. So you don't have to be at the property. Literally, aerial things like computer can give you aerial pictures. We can zoom in. You can see the cars driving by. You can get information on the top left. You see like legal descriptions. You can get aerial shots, as I said. And literally, all you need is to have a phone, access to a computer with internet access, and perhaps, well, that's really all you need to have. And the drink of choice, right? On a picture here, that might be a rum and coke or something like that. Not so sure. But you know what? Whatever your drink of choice is, a computer and internet access and a phone. That's all you need. All you need. You know what? My very first student, his name is Vince, dear friend of mine, only applied every Thursday evening and every Saturday morning for this business. And in 15 months, he did 19 deals, netting him about $400,000 in cash and equity. $400,000 in 15 months in 19 deals, $400,000 in cash and equity. So this doesn't require a lot of extra work. Now, all you need to do is you need to have a computer, an internet access, and a telephone in order to do this. So let's go on. Here's another case study. Case study number 57 from Renee Riker in Torrance, California. She says, "Is this exciting or what? This first sale covers more than my whole year's worth of expenses, including the purchase of 7 properties, educations, LLCs, websites, travel, postage, supplies, etc. The rest will be pure profit, and I'm excited to duplicate this over and over now that I have completed my first cycle." I'm so excited about this stuff. I could talk about it all day. Totally cool. Thank you, Jack, for sharing and for caring. And thank you, more importantly, even thank you, Jesus, for helping me to stay in line. Renee Riker. Now, here's the story. Renee bought 6 properties. She got a list. She applied the filtering mechanism. She sent out some postcards, and I think she only sent about 50 or 100 postcards. One of them was an answer from a seller that had 6 properties. She did her value analysis. She came up with a value of about $250,000 for these properties, $250,000. She offered 11 cents on the dollar because my guideline is to offer between 5 and 25 cents on the dollar. You buy these properties for 5 to 25 cents on the dollar. So she offered 11 cents on the dollar, or in this case, 11 to 13 cents, in this case, $27,000 for the property. She got accepted. And now what she did is actually, already this came in like in, I think, late 2009. So what she did is she took 2 of these properties and just sold them, and she got this check from that. She got a check on October 27, 2009 of $53,911. Now, let me say what that means. What that means is that she got all her money back. All her money for the property back. Now, she got an extra $27,000 in her pocket, and now in addition, at that point, she still owned an extra 4 properties worth another $100,000 to $150,000. Now, I know within the next few weeks, she sold the other ones too, and just in quick wholesaling deals, she made over $100,000 just on this deal alone. Now, another thing interesting, that was her first deal. How would you like for that to be your first deal? What could you do with an extra $100,000? Now, at this point, let me actually just give you one disclaimer, and that is the Federal Trade Commission requires me to tell you that literally when you take the program and put it on your hard drive or put it on your bookshelf or just basically get it and never open it, never study it, and never do anything, you're not going to make money. However, it is my experience that my students who apply what I teach them and apply it consistently, like my friend Vince did, like Renee did, are making money with this program. And the average deal is not $60,000, but $60,000 is one of these jackpots that happen to the students that are applying this deal. A typical deal is more in the $3,000 to $5,000, $7,000 range, but every once in a while, one of these jackpots are going to come along. They're going to come along, and how many of these jackpots a year do you need while you still make $3,000 to $5,000 to $7,000 on other deals? That's the question. So, okay. So now the next step is make offers and buy properties. Make offers and buy properties. Number 4 here is the key to good offers is to make low but targeted offers. Low but targeted offers, send them in writing, and and send them with a contract that it gives you all the freedoms in the world. So let's talk about my contract for a second. My contract has 2 special provisions in it. 2 special provisions, and that is, number 1, it says there very clearly that you can back out of the contract anytime for any reason. You can back out of a contract anytime for any reason. Now, number 2, now that means that if you made a mistake in your analysis, if you offer too much, if you change your mind, you can back out of the contract anytime for any reason. And number 2 is just as important. There's actually a lack of a provision. There's actually no space in that contract for any kind of escrow deposit. So if you have a contract where you put nothing down, that means, as a matter of fact, on all 3,194 deals that I've done, I have never put an escrow deposit down. Never. So now so therefore, if you have a contract where you put nothing down ever, where you don't put any escrow deposit down, and none of your money is locked up in the contract, and you can back out of the contract anytime for any reason. Now, how many deals can you do? I mean, how many offers can you make? You can make as many offers as you want, right? As a result, you can back out of the time and don't put any money down. You can make unlimited amount of offers. And obviously, my contract, I'm going to talk about how you can get your hands on my contract later on. So here's another couple of stories. Here's Ed Yar from San Jose. Received that literally just a few months ago. He says he sent me something on Facebook. He sent it on Facebook. He's like, Jack, help. This week I got 9 offers accepted for lots of the same subdivision. There's still 4 days before the deadline, and some of my offers are still out there, so I'm expecting more. Sellers are faxing the contract in without even putting in their contract information. This is insane, and all of them at 10 to 15 cents on the dollar. Or another gentleman, I got that on February 22nd of 2011, Thomas Jacobson. He says he got a property on a contract that is assessed at $42,000. He's paying $7,300 for the property, and he plans for a quick sale for the property of $29,000. Is that a good deal? I mean, yes, absolutely. It's a great deal. Now, have you noticed one thing? Every single one of all these success stories that I'm showing you have been given to me between in 2009, 2010, and 2011. Now, how was the real estate market in 2009, 2010, 2011? Was it up or was it down? Well, it was down, right? That means that this business works in a down market, it works in a sideways market, and obviously it also works in an upwards market. I have done this business before the boom, during the boom, after the boom, and it has worked, and it does work every single day right now. So just as a side note. So let's talk about number 5 now, selling the property, one of my favorite subjects. Selling the property is easy. Now, when I started out, I wanted to backtrack a little bit, take a step back. When I started out, I started with 0 experience. I got my first computer at age 25, so I'm not a computer whiz. I know literally nothing about computers. I got started at age 25. I had never sold anything. I'm not a natural salesperson or anything like that by a far stretch. I have no idea about selling anything. I just held an average job. Now today, thanks to the land business, I have sold over $25 million worth of real estate. I've sold over $8 million online, and $5 million of that just since 2008. I mostly from home, mostly just using a computer and internet access. As a result, as a matter of fact, I got so good at internet marketing, at selling real estate and other things online that I participated in an online marketing competition, and I became an online and selling expert, and I sold $1.2 million worth of stuff online in 7 days. As a result of that, I got a check. I got a check for $25,000. I won a competition, a very highly fought competition. I won $25,000. And guess what? Because really what I was hoping I would win that, I had already made plans for the $25,000. The entire $25,000 went to my favorite charity, again in Honduras down there, to help a school for the poor, where they learn a profession while they get a high school degree, so that once they graduate from school, they don't have to rely on the government, which there's nothing to rely on there anyway, but they can actually earn their own living. And that's where my heart is. So that's what it's all about, right? At the end of the day, it's not about making an extra buck. It's about helping the world around us. So I took the entire $25,000 and sent it straight down to Honduras, and of that money, they were able to build a school for the first grade school room, and pay the teacher for a full year to start a bilingual class for first grade. Now that's just a side note. That's just to show. But as a result, the point is, I know how to sell stuff. I know how to sell stuff, houses, land, anything, online. So let's talk about online selling a little bit. So the easiest and fastest way for you to sell your property right now is Craigslist. Just build it up, put it on Craigslist, Craigslist Backpages, eBay.com, Bid for Assets, LandFlip, LandWatch. Now, let's think about that. If there's a web page that's called LandFlip, what do people do there? They put properties up there for land flip. What do people do? And people that looking for properties are going to land flip or LandWatch. Now, land flip and LandWatch together get over 1 million unique visitors a month looking for land. So if you have a property, if you have a piece of land that you want to sell, would that be a good place for you to put it? Absolutely, right? That's what it's about. When you sell properties, it's not about selling properties. It's about putting them where people already are looking for properties. That's all the secret to it. The secret is to go and find the places where people are looking for what you have to offer and put it there and offer them a better deal than anyone else can. And you will never have a selling issue in any market. So you can also put it on your website. I'm a big fan of you also having your own webpage, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So, but first, another land profit case study, number 5. With your formula, there's a Seth Fields here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. He says, with your formula, I've literally started making thousands of dollars within the first month. I've been working the system for less than a year and have already had several transactions that made me the equivalent of $900 per hour. And you know what? His latest deal, he literally just a couple of weeks ago emailed me about that, and I got confirmation that he got it on the contract, that he's purchased it now, is a property on Lake Michigan with lakefront worth up to $1 million that he bought for $3,500. How would you like to buy $1 million property for $3,500? Now that's what JackBosch is talking about. He's talking about here, he made $900 a deal, $900 an hour. He makes deals where he makes $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, and now he got $1 million a deal. Now how many of these $1 million deals do you need to be able to accomplish it? Right? Now they're out there. So, but here's the thing. What you want to do is you want to create an irresistible offer. The irresistible offer is here. When I started out, I told you I was in debt left and right. I was in debt. Other people held the notes that I was paying, right? So I needed to get out of debt fast. So what I did is I started my first whole bunch of deals for wholesaling deals. I basically bought properties. And you can do the same thing. If I would start again right now, this is what I recommend you. You start right now buying properties for 5 to 25 cents on the dollar, 5 to 25 cents of market value, and then you turn around and flip them quickly for 40 to 70 cents on the dollar, and just for a quick sale, right? And for example, you buy a property for $10,000, you buy it for $1,000, you sell it for $5,000. Now, if it's truly worth 10 and you sell it for $5,000, do you think you're going to have a problem selling? No, absolutely not, because it's a bargain. Anyone's going to jump on it. The profit's $4,000. Now you take the profit and do it again and again and again And again, I always took from the profit that I made, always a little piece and paid off my debt. And soon enough, after a few months, I had paid off all my couch, my bed, my bed frame, my refrigerator, and all those things were paid off. And then we paid off one of the cars. And then I started piling up a cash at the side. And the very first deal that ever happened to me was that I ever got done. What happened, we actually got the acceptance on Christmas Day of 2002. On Christmas Day of 2002, we got a voicemail from the seller saying, I'll accept your offer. The offer is in the mail. On Christmas Day 2002. You know what? On October 17th, 2003, I was able to quit my job. And at that point of time, I had all my debt except for my house paid off. I had about 1 year's worth of living expenses sitting on the sidelines, sitting in the bank account. That was kind of my point. That if I quit my job today, that I have about 1 year's worth of living expenses on it, sitting in a bank account. And I quit my job on October 17th. It was the last day on the job, October 17th, 2003. But here's the thing. Literally 8 months later, I was a millionaire. 8 months later. So it took a total of 18 months since my very first deal to become a millionaire. And you can do the exact same thing. One of my students, Tom Epperson, he's done over $216,000 while having a full-time job in his first year. That's cash and equity. $216,000 and build up cash flow and done, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So here's the thing. So the other thing is you can cash wholesaling. You buy it low, and you sell it. You buy it super low, and you sell it low. And you do it again and again and again. And here's a good example of a cash wholesale deal. Here's a story from, and I actually uploaded up a little bit more in the summary so you can actually read this. This is Michael Hurley's story. He said he bought 3 acres for $1,125, worth $15,000 to $25,000. He listed it on Craigslist for $9,900 and sold it in less than 30 days for $8,400. That's a profit of $7,275 in less than a month. Let me ask you, would an extra $7,200 a month make a difference for your life? How about you do one deal like that a month? Would that make a difference? Would that change something? Would that enable you to have some choices in life, to help some people, to help yourself, to live a nicer life, pay off some debt, whatever it is, right? Help your church? So absolutely right. Absolutely good. Now, the other day, a friend of mine came and I met a friend of mine, and he came over to the house and he was like, hey, Jack, how are you doing? He's like, great. So how are you doing? And I said, he's like, well, good. I just came from the bank, and I thought I'd stop by because I just put $3,000 in the bank. And I was like, great. How much interest are they paying you? Well, 3%. Like, well, okay, that's actually better than most banks, but how long are you going to keep it in there? It's like, I want to retire early. I got to keep it in there for 20 years. And then I was like, okay, so at 3%, do you know what it's going to be in 20 years? He's like, well, I don't really, but I figured it's better than spending. It's like, well, you're right on that one, but it's really what you want to do is you want to invest it in something that makes more money for you. But because what is $3,000 for you? So it's like in 20 years. Well, let's calculate that. So we calculated it, and guess how much that is? $3,000 put in the bank at 20 years. For 20 years is a whopping amount of $5,418.33. He looked at me. He's like, wow, I guess I got to find something else. I mean, I know. Then he asked me, you know what? I know you do some things that land stuff. Can you tell me a little bit more? It's like, yeah, I'll be happy to do it. Here's what I would do with all due respect, told my friend. If you take $3,000 and apply it to this system, and you just do one deal every month that makes you $7,000, and then you don't reinvest the money. You just take the $7,000 and put that in the bank. Once you do one deal, you do one deal a month, and just put the $7,000 profits per month into the bank at 3%. If you do that after 20 years, you have a lot more money. It's like, how much more? So let's calculate it. So we calculated, you have $2.33 million in the bank. It's like, wow, I got to get involved in that. It's like, yes, you got to get involved in that. So, but it's like, but wait a second, I want to tell you another way that you can perhaps make even more money. That is by using seller financing. Now we enter the real domain of Donna here, right? So here's the thing: when you get these deals at 5 or 25 cents on the dollar, and you offer seller financing, you don't have to discount them anymore. You don't have to sell them at half price anymore. You don't have to buy them at 20. You don't have to sell them at 45, 60 cents on the dollar anymore. Because the deal here is actually in the financing, right? So plus the down payment, when you buy them so cheap, the down payment often pays for the cost of the property. I mean, this is probably the only system that I know of where the worst case scenario is that you actually make a little money. And the best case scenario, obviously the probable scenario, the best case scenario, you make a lot of money. But even if everything goes wrong, you still get your money back and you make some money. Because when you buy something at 5 or 10 or 15 cents on a dollar, how high is the chance that you're actually going to lose money on the deal? Right? It's almost nothing. But here's the deal. With seller financing, the down payment often pays for the cost of the property. So with just the down payment and a couple of payments, you got all your money back, and the rest is just profit. Now, the deal is in the financing. A low down payment also allows you, that's why the low down payment allows you to sell at market value. It's like when you buy a car. When you walk in there, they don't ask you how much your car, they don't tell you how much your car costs. They ask you, you know what, how much monthly payment can you afford, right? That's what they sometimes ask you. Because that's how it works. People are looking for financing, and that's how they can sell those millions of cars. So the deal is in the financing. If you get a great financing deal, you'll go for a bigger car, right? So at least many people do. So also because it's land, you can actually ask for a higher interest rate. So 10 to 14% is actually very, very normal. And foreclosure is actually easy if you use the land contract. Plus, you create massive and long-lasting passive cash flow. So literally, you become the bank. And I know as students of Donna, you're very familiar with becoming the bank and how cool that actually is. Now, how many deals do you need? You know, the average American family income is $44,000 or $3,600 per month. My average seller financing deal is about $200 a month for 8 years. Now, that means you need 18 deals total. That means one deal every 2 months for 2 years, or 1.5 deals a month for a year. Or it's actually one deal every 2 months for 1.5 years, or 1.5 deals per month for a year, or 3 deals per month for 6 months, or you're done for 8 years. Now, remember, in my first year with having a job, I did 63 deals. So you think you can do a couple of deals a month and get yourself financially free in a matter of a year or two? I sure think so. Here's the thing, and here's another story from, again, the video, we won't hear it, but this is case study from 261 from Derek Keepers. His deal is still falling. He did 17 deals in the first 6 months. He sent that to me literally 2 months ago. He did 70 deals in the first 6 months. Here's an example deal. He bought the property for $2,000, sold it for $6,700 with a good down payment, and he's getting $100 a month for 4 to 5 years. Now, with the down payment and probably about 4 or 5 monthly payments, he has all his money back, and the rest is literally an infinite return. Now, if you just do, so I went back to my friends. They're like, "You get this? Do you understand how this works?" It's like, "Yes." So now let's look at the numbers. So if you apply $3,000 to the system, and you just do one deal a month for $7,000. But instead of putting the $7,000 in the bank, you offer seller financing on the deal, and you charge 10% interest. You offer 20 years. You don't have $2.3 million. You have $5.3 million. And he looked at me and he's like, "Wow, I gotta get that. I gotta get involved." And I said, "Exactly, you gotta get involved." Now, when I understood this, I actually put the pedal to the metal. My first few deals were just wholesaling deals, but as soon as I understood seller financing, I did seller financing deals, and nowadays I offer seller financing in all my deals, whether I sell it wholesale or retail, doesn't matter, because I love cash flow. And as a matter of fact, my average monthly cash flow every month, monthly payments just from these loans is anywhere from around $56,109. $56,109 is what I get in per month in just monthly payments. Now, most of these properties are already paid for, and if you see on the street, some of them say $81, some of them say $105, some of them at $499, $499, some of them $200, $175, $160, and so on. So they're all over the place. My average monthly payment is $193 plus a loan servicing fee, so it's around $200, and I have over 280 of these loans where people pay me every single month. Now, do you understand now where my life is You understand now that how with such a system, you can go on vacation, and when you come back, you have more money in your bank account than when you left, right? This is what the system is about. So with that, when you put that in place, when you put this in place, whether you do wholesaling or cash selling, I'm a big seller financing fan, but you can start doing things for yourself. You can go, perhaps you can afford now going to a better college. Perhaps you can send your kids to a better college. Perhaps you can. We help my wife, some of my wife's family to attend college. Whatever your dreams are, right? If your dream is retirement, one of the things I'm most proud of is that thanks to the land business, I was able to retire my dad a couple of years ago. Because I knew he was up there. He was a high school teacher for 41 years, and he just didn't want to do it anymore. Just all the joy had gone. After 41 years, everything gets old. I understand. And not only my dad, but also the fun of being in school. And he just didn't want to do it anymore. And luckily, thanks to the land business, I was able to go to my dad and say, like, you know what? Don't worry about it anymore. Just chill. Just take it easy and take the last 2 years off. And I personally think I probably enabled him. I probably bought him another extra 10 years of his life by doing that. So these are the things that matter to me. And whatever matters to you, it's up to you. But whatever it is it's a nice car, a trip with the family, helping your charity and so on. But the land business is the simplification of land deals. You don't have to deal. In all my 3,000 deals that I've done, 3,000 plus deals, I have never talked to a bank, for example. I've been the bank, and I am the bank, but I've never talked to a bank. Because you don't have to. Because when you buy a property for 5 to 20 cents on the dollar, you don't have to look for financing for that deal. So whatever the thing is, my land profit generator is the program that we're talking about right now. So if you have to drop off or something, I have a whole bunch more to share with you, but you can go get it right now at www.thenotebuyer.com/jack.html. So go to thenotebuyer.com/jack.html. But now first I want to go through a few more things with you, and that is number one. I want to go through the summary again. It's like there's the land cash machine benefits. The benefits are virtually there's no competition. Nobody does this. All these people are running up to these tax liens and tax deeds and competing and bidding these prices up when the interest rate's down and those kind of things, when all you need to do is sidestep the entire process, find the owners that don't want the properties anymore, and buy the properties right there from them without directly with full title insurance, everything directly from the owners for same or less money that you get similar properties at these tax events. It works in any market. It works in an up market, down market, sideways market. And it generates what's really important, more time and more money. You can do it part-time and from home if you want to, or full-time. And it generates the financial freedom, the ability for you to go on trips, and when you come back, have more money in the bank account than when you left. And it's a turnkey and easy-to-use system. Anyone favor it easy. And remember, there's no tenant, hornet, or termite. So therefore, with your permission, I want to go quickly through the program and just share with you what is all included. So number one, you get online access. So you don't have to wait for a program to be shipped to your door. You get immediate access to my land buying home study system. So this is the program that teaches you exactly how to buy properties for pennies on the dollar, the right way. It's divided into 8 steps. So it gives me more ability to go into more detail than we're able to do right now. You can literally look over my shoulder as I walk you through the deal, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I've had this as only a buy-in course, and I've sold it for $1,997. So it's a value of real world value. I've sold hundreds of them for $2,000, just the buying program. And but you're also getting today the selling program with it, because you're getting my program. It's called the second part of it. It's called Master Dog Buyers. The selling system. You get instant online access to that too. You'll discover how to find nationwide cash buyers, and how to get them to literally fight over your properties. And there's secret techniques that nobody talks about, how you can get your property in front of thousands and tens of thousands of people, and there's much, much more. That also has a value of an additional $997. You also get a downloadable quick start guide that you can get, that you can study right away, you can listen to right away, and that literally is designed to have you have your first check in your hand in less than 30 days. For example, my fastest student ever so far, or at least the fastest student that I know of, has been 14 days. In 14 days, he went from getting the system to having a check in the hand made it $4,000, and he said he did that by sending out 10 postcards. Can you send out 10 postcards to make $4,000? Well, I sure think so. So it includes how to outsource everything to make your life easier. That's a $97 value. So, but I also get a LandProfit Analyzer software. This is the software that helps you analyze deals quicker. Once you put in all the properties in there, you press the button, out comes a spreadsheet that helps you to grade your offers. You can actually, if you have an assistant or somebody that helps you doing this, you can give that to that person that they can do it, and plus you get lifetime upgrades. The real world value of that is $497. And I'm also going to let you steal from me. I'm going to let you steal my call script and checklist. So you get my secret call scripts, my checklist. For example, they look like this, certain inserts that you can put into your offers that will boost the response rate on these offers, and any other scripts and sheets that I use internally. You think of the 3,000 deals that I've probably come up with some hurdles, some milestones that have required me to create some things to keep my business organized. Exactly. That's exactly what you get. So you don't have to go and spend 3 years like I did figuring out the system. You can actually get started, save yourself 3 years, and literally get started with deals this week. Actually, tonight you can get started with deals. That has a value of $4,000. But I also, remember when I told you that when I asked you who would like to instantly triple, if you would like to instantly triple your business? Well, here's the thing. I have a special section in my program that I throw in there that helps you discover how to uncover the secret list inside the county offices, even from home. Literally, with that, I'll teach you how to contact the county, say some crucial key phrases to them, and they'll open the vault of motivated sellers to you. So you will never have a shortage of people wanting to sell their properties to you. That's a value of $397. So, but also you get my exact paperwork. You get my exact success collaborative paperwork. You get my exact forms, my exact contracts, not just some contracts, the exact ones that I use, the exact letter that gets you 6 to 20% response rate. You get paperwork, forms, everything that I use that my attorney has spent way over $7,000 and have that generated for you. Now, just think about it. If you take a piece of document to your attorney and he spends 3 hours reviewing it, he's going to charge you at least $700 or $800 per document. If you have a cheap attorney, $500 per document. Now, if you have that alone, is way more than the investment in your financial freedom, the investment in this product today. So, but that's not all of it either. You also get my proven marketing letters, my marketing letters, my letters that help you get the properties, my letters that help you sell the properties, my ads that I use to sell the properties. You get my proven marketing to find deals in your own backyard and to find buyers all over the country. There's another value of $1,297. So in summary, what we have so far, we have the buying system, the selling system, the quick start guide, the analyzer software, the cost tricks, the mining the county, the private success library of paperwork, the marketing system. That together has a value of $16,282. But here's the thing, the real world value of $16,282, you're not going to pay that. Very simply, the investment today is not 16, it's not 15, it's not 10, it's not 5, it's not 3, it's not even $2 or $1,000. It's very simply, just your risk-free investment is $647. It's almost embarrassingly low. So go right now, go to www.thenotefire.com/Jack. But at the same time, I want to throw in some mega bonuses for you, some additional bonuses. The bonus is number one, I want to throw in a 30-day money-back guarantee. Very simply, you get access to the program tonight, you study it, and within 30 days, I'll issue your prompt refund. But I know once you use it, you like the results. You love the results, and you see powerful results. So go to thenotefire.com/jack.html. But here's the thing. I want to throw in a few extra bonuses. Number one, I want to extend an invitation. That's an optional invitation. Invitation to my program, which is called my Land for Pennies Gold program. Here's the thing. Would you like to be surrounded by like-minded people? How would you like to be? I mean, the thing is, we all love to be surrounded by people that support us. Now, as you do this business, you're going to be vastly successful. But sometimes you also it's great to have people that have your interest in mind behind you and with you. So I created the support program because not everyone is constantly surrounded by people supporting us. You know, my support program is my wife. My wife, Michelle, is super supportive for me. I'm so supportive to her. But not everyone has a support system. So I created a community that is my support program. We do live Q&A calls. We have very active members forum. You can meet with your peers. You can search past all existing discussions, start new discussions, take older discussions, revive them, get questions answered literally in minutes by your peers. Get questions answered by me. Get access, or actually not access, get shipped to you a CD of the month for free. Get my $1 Million Roller Fix. All of that stuff, there's entire courses in there, video courses, audio courses, recording. All this kind of stuff has a value of $5,997. So it's free for 30 days. Afterwards, it's $97 a month. But just the stuff that's in there is $5,997. Now, it's an invitation. When you get access to the program, within a couple of days, we'll send you an invitation to set up your free account there. You don't have to take it. It's just an additional invitation. But I also believe that you should have a website. I also believe everyone should have a website. So therefore, I want to give you a free website. Now, a lot of people at this point ask me, Jack, why are you throwing so much stuff? Because remember when I freaked out in my first deal, I couldn't get it done? You know why I couldn't get it done? Because I didn't have a system to follow. There wasn't many systems out there, at least I didn't know about any, that would held me by the hand and walk me step by step through the process of how I properly do it. So I said to myself, when I teach this one day, what I'm going to do is I'm going to not just create a great system, I'm also going to create a complete system. And I think with a complete system, what belongs in there is also a website. So you have to have your website, you need to have your website, and I'm going to give that to you as an extra bonus. So you get a fully operational selling website. There's no setup cost, no maintenance effort, no maintenance cost. You use it to post and sell your properties. You get additional exposure for your properties, and you also get the possibility there for an optional buying website too. Now, typically, this is not my website. I don't own that service, but I know the owner of it, and he graciously allowed me to give away a few of those for free. Typically, the value of that is $2,000 to sign up for that. You actually get access to it for free. So, and I also want to invite you. I want to throw in one mega bonus. I want to invite you to my Land for Pennies or Land Cash Machine seminar. It's my JackBosch Live Land for Pennies Land Cash Machine 3-day live event. I do 2 of those on the West Coast, 2 of those are either in the East Coast or the Central USA each year. There are various locations in the U.S. It's a 100% teaching seminar. Regularly, people come over here and tell me that it's the best seminar they've gone to in their entire life. And I'm not just saying this. I have backup of that multiple times. Because here's one thing. It's not a pitch fest. I don't bring in 10 speakers or something like that. It's me. For the entire weekend, it's me. It's me and my CPA, and pretty much that's it. So 90% at least of the time, it's me up on stage walking you through the entire system, teaching you some additional techniques that can make you hundreds of thousands of dollars a year with barely any work. And so a detailed walkthrough through the entire system, lots of Q&A, and I'm going to give you 1 free access pass, and you can even bring a guest. You can even bring a guest. So that has a value of $19.97. Actually, with a guest, it's a value of $3,994. But so it's at least a $2,000, $1997 value. So go to the notebuyer.com /jack.com. I will also get that included as an additional bonus. And I also believe in customer service. I have a dedicated customer service team. As a matter of fact, it's not a customer service team. It's the team that helps me with my real estate transaction. It's the team that does everything, every step on the way. Those are the same guys that also pick up the phones and answer the emails to support you guys. Because you know what? I'm number one, an investor. I do deals every single month, every single week. As a matter of fact, I just signed some deeds today selling a whole bunch of properties, selling 9 properties. I signed another deed selling 1 property that I bought for $300 for $11,500. Today I signed it. Next week I'm going to sell. We have an auction schedule. We're selling a whole bunch of properties. The key is when you call in or when you email in, you're going to get your questions answered by the people that are in the trenches doing this business with me. It's not going to be outsourced to some kind of guy that doesn't know what the heck he's talking about. It's exactly so. If you have And there's the thing. I believe in unlimited customer service. So what you get is you get lifetime customer support. But the only restriction I have is that I define lifetime as my lifetime, right? I'm a young guy, but still. But if I'm no longer around, perhaps in another 100 years, hopefully, then that ends the lifetime customer support. But until then, meaning that if you have a question today, we will answer. If you have a question in 5 years from now, we will answer. So this world, the value of that is really, I don't know, it's priceless, I believe. So in total, what we have right now is very simple. All of the items together are now value of $26,276 right now, only for $647. But I'm also going to add an extra bonus, but this one I have to limit because of the kind of bonus it is, I cannot offer this to everyone. And here's the thing: for the first 12 order right now, order tonight, I'm going to offer you, and you can order right now by going to www.thenotebuyercom/jack.html. Don't forget the .html. Here's the thing: for the first $12, how would you like a $10,000 bonus? Okay, here it is. Here's the deal. I have a list of people that have indicated to me that they're interested in buying properties from me. And that list is not small. That list is over 21,000, almost 22,000 people strong. Almost 22,000 land buyers have indicated that they want to see when new properties come in on my website. So here's what I just did. I just sold 12 properties in 2 emails, and 27 properties in 2 weeks. Last month I sold 22 properties just with sending out a few emails, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I will add your properties. As you do deals, I will add your properties to my website. My website, where when I send an email, all these thousands of people come to see what the newest deal is. Your property is going to be right next to my properties and being sold there. That's no cost to you. I don't get a commission on it. I don't make any money on it. It's just a bonus to you. Now, what if all the system did would be able to just generate an extra sale or two a year, making an extra $10,000? Would that be worth it? Yes, exactly. So I don't charge for that. It's free. Now, again, if all the system did would generate an extra deal a month, making $7,000, would it be worth it? If all the system did would generate an extra, I don't know, cash flow of $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month for the next 10 years, would that be worth it? If all the system did would generate you a jackpot once or twice a year, making you an extra $100,000 a year, would that be worth it? Exactly. So therefore, I want you to try this out. I want you to do this. And here's the thing. I'm actually going to throw in an extra bonus. And this one is actually limited to the first 5 to order. And for the first 5 on order, you're also going to get a one-on-one call with me. Not just a one-on-one call with me. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you 1 full hour of one-on-one calls with me. You can break it down into 3 chunks of 20 minutes, 4 chunks of 15 minutes, 2 of half an hour, or just 1 full hour at once. It doesn't matter to me. What I mean is you contact we send you, if you're one of the first 5, you just contact our office, be like, hey, I want to have a consultation with Jack. We get you on the calendar typically within a couple of days. The most you get on the calendar with me, so it's not weeks out. It's typically very fast, sometimes the same day. And we get on there and we talk about it. I typically charge $800 an hour, so that's an extra $800 value. So total together right now we're at $36,276. Right now, this program is available for $646. I can honestly say this is the lowest price that I have ever made this program available. So you can go to www.thenotebuyercom /jack.html. Again, so this is it. So with that, I only have one more thing to add, and that is, who wants everything for free? If I could get this entire program to you for free, who would you be interested in? Okay, here's how you can get it for free. I'm actually writing a book right now. I'm writing a book, and for my book, I'm looking for success stories. Because there's hundreds of people having success out there. Not everyone tells me. So I want to actually bribe you to tell me about your success. So I'm going to give you a 180-day success guarantee. Very simple. I want your success story. I want your testimonial. So I'm going to give you half a year to just do one simple deal. That's plenty of time. I did 63 deals in the first year. The other, Derek Keepers right now, he did 17 deals in his first half a year while having a full-time job. I'm going to give you 180 days to do just one simple deal. And when you do that deal, only you have to do the deal in half a year, even if you send me a paperwork a little later, and that's okay. All you need to do is send me copies of the closing doc, copies of the check. You can black out the check number or things like that. But and a video testimonial. If you don't know how to do a video testimonial, I'll hook you up with someone in my office that can show you how, or we send you a video camera for you to record it and send it back to us. So we're going to make it very easy for you. And then, literally, I'll send you the full amount of money that you paid right now back to you. Now, you don't have to make $1,000. You don't have to make $1 million. Whatever you made, even if you make only $500 on the deal, or only $10 on the deal, it's very unlikely. You've got to make more than that. But still, you're going to get all your money back when you just do this. You have 180 days. So, as I said, I'm going to give that to you. And so, with that, the full program, again, it's $36,276 in value. Right now, the webinar special for DonnaBauer only is $647. You get instant online access to the program by just going to www.thenotebuyers.com/jack.html. And Donna, this is pretty much all I have.
Jack, all you have? Oh my goodness. That is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I can't thank you enough. And you guys, I got to tell you this, and you have never heard me say this before on my webinars, but I'm going to be doing this right along with you. Jack, I'm going to start doing this as well, and I'll tell you why. One of my personal favorite strategies is to buy the note from the bank instead of doing a short sale, because it's a lot easier to buy the note, and then get the house, and then turn around and sell the house and put seller financing on it. But when I look at what you're doing here, doing it with the land is so much better. And the reason is because you can turn around and sell it when you're buying it for pennies on the dollar. When you turn around and sell it with your land with seller financing, just for a little down payment, it would more than cover your purchase price. And that doesn't happen that often when you're getting the house, buying the note from the bank. It's just not as steep as a discount as what you're talking about there. Plus, I've been very limited because I won't personally hold notes unless the property's within a few hours of my house. And heck, I would buy notes on land or buy the land all over the country because I don't have to worry. I mean, that is so cool. You wouldn't have to worry about what happens if you get it back. You don't have to worry about, oh my God, if I get this back in the middle of the winter, are we going to have frozen pipes? Do I have insurance on it? You wouldn't have to get any insurance. I mean, it would be so much better. And just it's going to open up so many more deals for me. I mean, you've just helped me to dramatically increase my personal investments. So this is
exactly
awesome.
I'm sorry.
And go ahead.
No, I mean, you're 100% right. And as a matter of fact, financially speaking, if somebody stops making the payment, it's actually the best that can happen because you get to keep the down payment and the monthly payment and sell it again. Now, that's not how I like to operate my business, and you don't either, but it's risk-free in the sense that if somebody stops making the payment, there's no pipes to worry. There's no vandalism to worry about. There's nobody to send out there. It's just land, and then you get to sell it again and double your profits because you get to sell it again. Exactly right.
This is totally awesome. And I'll tell you something else. Truly, you can do, just multiple deals. Like, when you buy the land and just turn around and do a quick wholesale and put cash in your pocket. But a lot of folks that I've been talking to, of my people, they're looking to establish an ongoing cash flow, a passive investment, so that they don't have to keep going out and continually always doing deals. And I see this as the perfect opportunity for that. It's like you
Exactly.
said, you do a couple deals a month, and if you turn around and sell it on seller financing, and you guys, you've got the smart seller financing. You've got the land contract that you can turn around and sell the land on. You've got the regular mortgages, everything that you need is in the smart seller financing. So you've got all your documentation, and I just feel like this is a perfect niche. It's a unique niche, and it's a perfect uh, combination to do this with the notes. I'm really, really excited, Jack, not only for myself, but, for my students and everything, because I could see where if you do this on a part-time basis, that within a year, I think you could establish enough of a cash flow that people seriously could quit their jobs. And it wouldn't be a matter, I'm sorry that I'm talking a mile a minute and cut you off, Jack. I'm just excited.
No. I just said absolutely. Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
But it is so cool because you wouldn't have to keep working it. And like you said, it gives you the opportunity to travel and do other things. And do you realize you can do all of these in your self-directed IRA?
That's 100% correct. You can do all of that in your IRA. I didn't even have time to talk about that, but yeah, land is a perfect vehicle in the IRA because there's no depreciation and things like that, so you're not wasting any tax benefits. Instead, you're just protecting the money from being gone for taxes, right? Afterwards. And there's a few other benefits that I haven't talked about. For example, if you do a lot of these things, there's for the more savvy investors, there's a dealer status that the IRS has when you do a lot of deals. But you know what? Land transactions are excluded from the dealer status if you just buy it and sell it and don't change it much in between. It's a very hidden provision that almost nobody knows about, but my CPA found it. And that means that the seller financing thing here, you can do that tons of times and you're not subject to the IRS definition of a dealer status.
That is completely awesome. Hey, will you give me that exemption so I'll have it?
Absolutely. I'll send that over to you, and I would trust that anyone that would like it can probably contact your office and also get it.
Exactly.
Is that reaching out too much? I hope
No. That's really awesome. My people understand the value of this. I know that they can see exactly what I see, and this would be so easy for them to plug into because they've already got in my smart seller financing. They're accustomed to having documents and doing the resale and everything. But let me just say this: if you are wanting to buy and hold notes, goodness sakes, here you can create the note you want. Instead of going out and looking for existing seller carrybacks that may or may not fit your particular situation, you could buy the land for pennies on the dollar, and when you go to sell it, structure it exactly the way you want it. You know?
right.
It's really
Right.
perfect. And Jack, I got it.
Exactly what one of my students just did. He bought a property for $9,000. It was worth $60,000. Put it on the market for $40,000. Sold it in 10 days for $40,000 with a few $1,000 down payment. And within the first year, he has all his money back. And about a little bit about over a year, he has all his money back. And then he's still collecting $300, $400 a month for the next, I think, 10 years or so.
That is really, really awesome.
Actually, yeah, for more than 10 years, actually, in this case. Yeah, so this is exactly that's exactly what I do, and I love those cash flow streams, I tell you.
Well, I think people are getting more interested in those so that they can have like chunks of time where they can travel and do other things rather than always looking for the next deal. And this is an opportunity just to create really carefree and passive investments.
Right,
You've
exactly
done
right.
a fantastic job. I think this is just awesome that you've put all this together and made it easy for everyone. I want to make sure, though, so the first 5 people would get an hour consultation with you. Is that right?
Yes, and as far as I can tell, as far as I can know from the notification that we got, we're already over the 5. So what I will do is I will just expand that to the first 12 too. So if we have easy, we don't have to think about it. First 12 get access to that, or can list their properties on my website, and also the first 12 are going to get an hour with me. I'm just going to expand it to keep things simple.
thank you for doing that because I was noticing the same thing and I wanted to ask you about it. So, folks, really, you want to jump on this because we're almost at the 12. So don't delay. Hurry up and do it. I assume that the way you set it up, if I understood Christine right, is that as long as their card goes through without any problem, they're going to be part of the 12. But if it's after the 12, you'll like a little thing pops up and says, sorry, you weren't one of the first 12, or is that how that works?
Yes, that's how it works, exactly.
Okay. So you don't have to worry unless you get some kind of a little pop-up thing. You'll know that you're part of the first 12, and that's if you're part of the first 12, then that's when you get to get the system free by doing one deal within 6 months. Is that right?
Actually, everyone. That is explained to everyone who orders basically tonight. I put that out to everyone that orders. Only these extra mega bonuses, the $10,000 bonus of being able to list it on my website, and the one-on-one hour with me, that's restricted to the first 12. But anyone that orders right now, even if you're number 13, 14, 15, you still get half a year to do one deal. Just very simple, and send me that testimonial. So many of the testimonials or success stories that you received or that you saw tonight, they were exactly done like that. They got it over to me, and I sent them the full money back. And believe me, they paid a whole lot more than the $647 that the price is today.
That's awesome.
It has never been lower than that. So
And
it's a special thing.
And they will be able to access this right away. It's not like they've got to wait for you to send something. Do you send them a link? Is that what happens? Or password?
Yes, actually, right after they order, they go to a page where they can set up their login and password, and once they register them, they're right in the program. They can literally start listening and watching the things right now, start learning right now. They can be up and going in 5 minutes from now.
You guys got to take advantage of this. This would be really fun for us to all do together, and we can kind of follow along. Maybe we should have a race, Jack, of my people on who makes the most the quickest.
That would be fun. I would be very interested in that. Yeah, that would be cool.
This is just a perfect thing for us to combine with the note buying, because truly we can tailor-make our own investments, and it would be a whole lot better than doing this with the house. You know, Jack, I realize we have gone way over, and everybody, I'm really sorry, but I didn't want to stop it because, Jack, you've just given me so much information. I'm excited, and I apologize for just kind of rambling on here and talking 100 miles an hour, but this is awesome. Really.
Thank you very much. And I could talk. I mean, obviously, I could talk about this day and night. So I didn't even know this either. So my apologies for going perhaps a little bit over, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank you very much for having
me. Absolutely. Thank you for being on. Everybody go to thenotebuyer.com/jack.html. Order it right away so you can be part of the first 12. Look, he's going to let you list your land on his website right alongside the land that he's selling. I mean, do you realize how valuable that is? So you really want to be part of the first 12 so that you can take advantage of that. Thank you again, Jack, and I look forward to talking to you. Even if I'm not one of the first 12, do I automatically count since I was the promoter?
You absolutely count for that. Yeah,
I'm afraid by the time I get on, they're already going to be filled up. But we'll have to talk some more. And
all right.
Thank you so much. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.